All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Look, if you've been anywhere near tech or financial news lately, you've definitely seen the spectacular headline rumors swirling around Elon Musk's next massive ambition. And, well, if there's one thing we've all learned about Musk, it's that he absolutely does not do things by half measures. When he enters an industry, he wants to vertically integrate and, quite frankly, dominate it. Lately, there are these whispers echoing through the tech world about a potential collision between Musk's empire and literally the absolute linchpin of the global technology supply chain. It sounds like a Hollywood thriller, right? But the underlying reality is actually far more fascinating and way more consequential. So the big cinematic question we have to pose immediately to kick things off is, could Elon Musk actually buy ASML? I mean, it's the ultimate water cooler thought experiment. We're talking about the world's richest entrepreneur potentially acquiring the one company that builds the machines, that build the chips, that run the modern world. And you know, the timing of this speculation? Definitely not an accident. With the incredible valuation jumps and skyrocketing paper wealth we've seen, especially post-SpaceX IPO, the idea of Musk just casually taking out his checkbook for Europe's most critical tech asset suddenly feels like a conversation people are actually having. Now, the arithmetic involved here is just spectacular. We are talking about a number with a whole lot of zeros, $1 trillion. To put that into perspective, ASML's market value already hovers around $750 billion. So if you were going to mount a serious takeover bid, hostile or friendly, you'd need to offer a massive premium. Any credible offer pushes that price tag up to at least $1 trillion. But because Musk's paper wealth has surged past this threshold, well, this mathematical barrier suddenly looks kind of scalable to some observers. It makes the whole thought experiment practically irresistible, doesn't it? But hold on, before we get carried away, let's look at the cold, hard reality here. There are three insurmountable walls that make a buyout basically impossible. First up, paper wealth is not liquid cash. Musk's fortune is heavily tied up in equity across Tesla, SpaceX, and the rest. To buy ASML, he'd have to liquidate or pledge huge chunks of his empire, which would trigger massive market and governance risks. Second, ASML isn't just a regular company. It's a completely strategic European technology node. A takeover would smash right into a massive wall of Dutch and EU national security screening. No way around it. And third, ASML actually has a preference shares foundation specifically designed to block unwanted control. So a literal hostile takeover? Yeah, actually, scratch that. It's literally just not happening. But here is the absolutely crucial point, and it's captured brilliantly by strategist Willem Scheepers in his ManagementPro essay. This essay is actually the foundation of our explainer today. He points out something really profound. Musk may not need to buy ASML in order to influence the strategic environment around it. You see, Scheepers pivots our perspective away from that loud, totally unrealistic buyout rumor and points us toward a much subtler and, frankly, a much more dangerous reality. The real threat isn't a financial takeover at all. The threat is a structural takeover of the entire ecosystem. Which brings us to the next section. Enter Terafab, the physical AI stock. Terafab is the real key here. It is not merely just another chip factory. It's being designed as a private industrial nervous system for a vertically integrated AI economy. Just think about that phrasing from the ManagementPro essay for a second. A nervous system. Musk isn't just looking to manufacture a few microchips to toss into some cars. He's attempting to control the physical foundational layer of an entirely self-sustaining artificial intelligence empire. To really grasp the massive scale of this, just look at the vertically integrated stack Musk has already built across his multiple ventures. You've got SpaceX providing the space infrastructure, Tesla brings the vehicles and the massive on-the-ground compute power, xAI develops the advanced AI models, Optimus provides physical robotics, and Starlink handles the global data transit. Now, in the past, these were completely separate industries, but today, they all converge into one single strategic system. And guess what the absolute bedrock requirement is for every single one of these ventures to succeed at the next level? Extreme ultraviolet lithography machines. Yep, the exact machines that only ASML can produce. Terafab is essentially the physical bridge connecting Musk's vast software and hardware ambitions directly to ASML's manufacturing floor. Moving on to Section 3, the gravity field, bending scarcity. This brings us to a really crucial reality. The truly scarce asset here is not demand, it's capacity. This perfectly captures ASML CEO Christophe Fouquet's precise strategic response to all those Musk rumors. In the advanced semiconductor industry, there is absolutely no shortage of customers who want to buy. Demand is basically infinite. What is incredibly finite is capacity. We're talking about the machines, the specialized suppliers, the cleanroom expertise, the hyper-precision manufacturing. Fouquet noted that new projects are only a real opportunity if the industry isn't severely supply limited. And right now, It absolutely is. So how does Terafab actually act as this massive gravity field? Well, it happens methodically, in 4 distinct steps. First, Terafab reshapes capacity allocation. Even without owning ASML, Musk's massive, urgent demand just pulls future production slots right toward his projects. Second, it severely strains the supplier ecosystem. ASML relies on a hidden city of suppliers in the Brainport region, and Terafab's immense scale will stretch this entire high-tech chain to its absolute limits. Third, competing for critical talent. Musk is a master at turning industrial ambition into this recruitment myth, poaching the exact engineers and supply chain leaders that ASML desperately relies on. And finally, step 4, influencing the roadmap. Look, a customer this massive gets to dictate technical demands, basically steering the architectural priorities of the entire semiconductor industry to suit their own specific needs. You don't need to buy the company if you can just bend its entire ecosystem to your will. Section 4, physical AI sovereignty, the real threat. We're so used to thinking of AI sovereignty as just a software problem, right? Like, who has the smartest chatbot or the best frontier model? But true sovereignty rests on a physical stack. It is built on fabs, massive energy grids, physical data infrastructure, hyper-precision tools, and flawless industrial execution. You can write the best code in the entire world, but if you don't control the physical foundation required to run it, train it, and deploy it, you are not sovereign. Whoever controls this underlying physical stack controls the whole future of the technology. And that's exactly what this is about. Terafab is Musk's play for ultimate physical AI sovereignty. This represents a massive paradigm shift. Think about the old question. It was purely transactional. Who can buy the machines? It was just a standard vendor-client relationship. But now we have to ask the new question. Whose strategic system do those machines ultimately strengthen? We are moving way beyond basic sales into deep geopolitical power. When ASML sells a machine to Terafab, they aren't just boosting their quarterly revenue. They are fundamentally accelerating the private sovereignty of an American empire builder. It's a whole new ballgame.
Which leads us to Section 5, the ultimatum, from naivety to reciprocity.
So the really crucial point here is that we need to start asking the hard, strategic questions. When Elon Musk knocks on the gate, the question shouldn't just be, hey, how many machines do you want? The question absolutely must be, what does Europe get in return? What are the terms of reciprocity? Does fulfilling this massive Terafab order actually strengthen the local supplier base, or does it just exhaust it? Does it develop regional talent or just drain it all the way to the US? Will there be reciprocal investment in European chip capacity? And crucially, how do we protect our critical knowledge? A purely transactional relationship here is a losing game for Europe, for sure. And this brings us right to the core warning of the entire ManagementPro essay. The real risk here is becoming the machine room of someone else's AI sovereignty. If Europe isn't super careful, it's going to exhaust its most precious resources, its top-tier talent, its manufacturing capacity, its entire supply chain, merely to serve as the engine room powering someone else's ship. Brainport and ASML are globally connected, and yes, of course they should do business, but they absolutely cannot allow themselves to become a mere utility for an external, vertically integrated empire. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to wrap up today's explainer. Will Brainport, and by extension Europe, use its incredible position to actually shape the terms of global AI, or will it just become the machine room of someone else's sovereignty? ASML currently has total technological indispensability, but the ultimate test is whether they can convert that indispensability into lasting strategic power. So next time you see a flashy headline about Musk's crazy wealth, just remember, the real battle isn't for ownership of a company, it's for control over the physical future of intelligence itself. Thanks so much for joining me for this deep dive. And again, I highly recommend checking out Willem Scheepers' original piece in ManagementPro. Catch you on the next one.